meeting this morning. So this is Rich Pauly, the fire chief. It is February 16th, 2021, 10 o'clock a.m. We'll open the meeting of the emergency management team. And I also attended by some members of the select board. Chief Hurley, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, Chief. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Chief.
Okay, so at least it's not snowing. I know it's gray, but I'll take the rain over the snow. That's just me. We'll start with Hillary. Good morning, Hillary. Do you have any updates for us?
Do I have any updates? Let's see. Suzanne and I are working pretty closely with Outer Cape Health. We had a call with them this morning to try and get our homebound folks vaccinated. So that process will be moving forward. Chief, we're going to want to talk to you about getting some assistance from an EMT once we get rolling with that to follow the nurse vaccinators and make sure these folks have no adverse reactions. So
yes, Hillary, if I may, actually, we're having conversations also on the same lines about strictly homebound individuals, and I'd like to get with you and Suzanne as soon as we can, because we've got some potentially possibilities here that I'm hopeful on. So I think we could really put something together that even goes a little bit beyond what you guys have been able to come up with so far. But we'll talk about that offline.
okay, would love to. So there's a lot of folks working on a lot of different avenues to get to a lot of different people, which makes it confusing and a bit difficult to manage, but those folks are next on our list. So I think suffice it to say, we're all working to get the homebound folks vaccinated. We're still at 75 and up as far as large scale vaccination clinics. Caregivers have been added at some of the larger sites so we can accommodate those that are 75 plus and their caregivers. We held a clinic last Friday, which was actually really remarkable at our Little Creek Regional site. I was there all day and it was probably the most satisfying day of work I've had in a year. It actually felt really good to see all these folks coming through, getting their vaccines. They were all happy. It literally brought a tear to my eye as I drove home and was like, oh my gosh, this is going to come to an end sometime soon. So there's hope. Where there's a will, there's a way, and there's hope. So I just ask that everyone remain hopeful. I know the vaccine is trickling in, but folks around us are getting it. I did see Wellfleet folks there. I know that other Wellfleet folks are getting their vaccine at their doctors and their providers. So people are getting vaccinated. Slowly but surely, we will all get there. And I, of all people, I am so grateful. So it felt really good. That being said, you know, from the end of January to the beginning of February, we had 10 active cases. Our case count is down to 4 in the previous 2 weeks, going from today back 2 weeks. So our cases are dropping, which is great. And I think I'll leave it at that. I believe we're going to run our clinic again in Eastham on Friday. We haven't released any details of that yet. We're hoping to have a slightly different registration process. So once I get confirmation on that, I will put out an alert to folks with ways to sign up. But other than that, the clinics are all advertised on the Barnstable County Health and Environment website. There's links to the state there, and there's plenty of vaccine off Cape. So we're all working really hard to get the vaccine here locally. And with that, I can answer questions.
Rebecca, do you see any questions for Hillary?
I don't see any hands raised, Chief.
Okay. Thank you. Again, we can always circle back around if someone has one. I don't see Outer Cape Health on the line.
They're
No, they're
working
not here.
really hard.
I understand. They've got a full plate. Okay, then we'll move along for various departments that have vital COVID-19 updates, starting with Department of Public Works.
Thank you, Chief. We really don't have any COVID-related updates, other than the fact that we have not totally been exempt from COVID because we've had situations where we've had staff members have, given the certain circumstances, I've had to quarantine, which has made it a little difficult for scheduling purposes. But at least for now, we seem to be through that, and steady as she goes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any questions for Mr. Vincent at Public Works? Okay, we'll move on to Community Services. Good morning, Suzanne.
Yes, nothing new to report. Everything's going forward. And as Hillary reported, we are working with her and Outer Cape Health to put together a list and then appointments or a schedule for homebound people to receive shots. And makes me feel hopeful for the first time in a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Any questions for Community Services or Council on Aging? Do I see Becky on the line? I don't see Becky.
Yeah, I'm here.
He's here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Becky. I didn't see you there.
Good morning. Yes, I'm here. So the rec department also doesn't have any urgent COVID updates. We've also had to have some staff members quarantine for various reasons. But luckily everybody's healthy, thankfully now. The only thing I have to say is that all our programs are on the website, the Town of Wellfleet website, if you want to check them. And we are working hard to figure out modified versions of the summer program and the Easter egg hunt, possibly. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Becky. Any questions for Becky?
No
All
hands
right.
raised, Chief.
Thank you, Rebecca. We'll move on to Jennifer at the library. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. I have nothing COVID related to report. Everything is status quo with us and going very well.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Any questions for Jennifer at the library? I don't see any. I don't see the Harbor Master's office on this morning. If Will shows up, we'll certainly come back around to him.
It's school vacation week. He's in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah, he's taking a little break.
All right, thank you. On the fire side, basically we've had to have 2 individuals self-quarantine because of COVID. They're both back to work. And we also, everyone has received their second shot that we're able to do so. So we're just waiting it out, and otherwise we're all set so far at the fire department. Chief Hurley.
Morning, thanks, Chief. Just a few quick updates again. Also, I believe this morning is the last of our staff receiving the second dose of the vaccine. We are just trying to get up and running and ready for the summer, which will be here sooner than we know it, as we try to get ready for that. And as always, I just like to just to give a quick plug. It is COVID related in the sense of what I call COVID residual, that we're all dealing with, outside of the vaccine, outside of the day-to-day, that, we do have the Wellfleet well line that is available for those that just need a listening ear or somebody to talk to, and the Wellfleet Navigator program, which again, it's kind of a multifaceted position, but if there's red tape or help or anything like that that one would need, please get hold of them. There are resources out there so that members of our community do not have to go through this alone. So, and again, we're always here also 24/7, and we can get you in touch with any of those respected agencies. So thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Hurley? All right, I'm sorry, did I skip over Nancy at the Shellfish Department? I'm going off the agenda here and I apologize. Hi, Nancy.
No, hi, that's okay. I don't really have anything COVID related. I don't have anything COVID related, but everybody go out and support the Shellfishermen's Farmers Market, please. It's
Yes.
really helping. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Any questions for Nancy Shellfish? Okay, town administration. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Chief. I don't have anything COVID related. I think the one sort of carryover thing from recent conversations was just going back to look to see if there was an actual motion or how the process for allowing the outdoor dining for restaurants to, go through that process. So Rebecca was going to help me go back and sort of look to see what the original approval or conversation looked like so that we can extend that, because we want to make sure that those businesses stay viable and that they are able to carry on with that process without any fanfare.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know I have a file on that, Maria. Now what I'll do is I think I initiated the very, very first emails way back in the spring. So let me dig that up and I'll forward them off to you so you'll have something there.
Yeah, thank you. We needed to look to see whether there was an actual motion from the select board and whether that had a sunset on it. Whether it said, for the whatever season or till such and such date or whatever, so that we can make sure that we don't get sideways with our own process.
Sure. All right, let me see what I have in my file.
But other than that, no, it's business as the new normal.
Chief, Janet Reinhart has her hand raised.
Yeah, good morning, Janet.
There. Good morning. So I will just add on to what you and Maria were talking about, that last year, again, COVID was kind of definitely at a different level then, but all businesses, if they're expecting to use town property and again, put their tables and things outside on town property, they do have to come before us and request permission to use town property again. And we haven't discussed that at our meetings yet, but I assume we will do something similar to last year unless big changes. But yeah, they do have to come before us and ask for permission and get inspected by the building inspector and fire department, police, all that.
We had one, just as a follow-up to that, we had one business owner already inquire, and we immediately directed them to the town administration and to Ginny Mack for use of town property applications. So we think that process is starting to move forward.
Well, since I'm on here, I don't think much is going to change with COVID regulations. Maybe July, which I don't know. None of us know. Is that kind of how you feel too?
I'm thinking, from what I've read and discussions with some of the health experts and certainly with Hillary, I think if we get back to some type of quote new normal by the 1st of September,
right?
I think that's really the first possibility, a practical possibility. So I'm totally in agreement. Maria and I have had this conversation about working with the board and moving forward like we did last year, certainly with the outdoor dining and trying to make sure that other businesses can be accommodated to the best of our ability.
Good.
Yeah,
I was thinking September too, but I didn't want to dishearten anyone yet.
Yeah, I don't either. And, it's unfortunate, but realistically, we're not looking at much changing before Labor Day.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would hate to have someone plan for something in August and pull the rug out from under them. It takes so much work for people to plan things that
we're all nodding our heads.
Yeah, and in sadness.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Chief, Helen Miranda Wilson has her hand up, and Justina Carlson.
Yes, I was going to go to Helen next. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning. And yeah, the difference between this spring and last spring, early summer, is that we're used to making adjustments. And although we don't know what it's going to be like with many people vaccinated coming in, you know, the huge influx of people coming in, but also new strains, there are still a lot of unknowns, but we're more used to it. Through you, Chief Polly, to Hillary. Hillary, are you there?
Of course I'm here.
Yeah, but you know, the great question is, are you unmuted and conscious? Yeah, right. So, yeah, we have to approve use of town property as the select board, we being the 5 of us. But Hillary, as the licensing board, don't we have to approve new seating arrangements for people that are doing it within their premises? In other words, you know, when we approve licenses for restaurants, we're approving a very specific set of seating seats, tables in very specific places. And aren't we going to have to do that again?
So I think the Board of Selectmen as the licensing board is more concerned for the alcohol consumption and the seats associated with that. As far as restaurant seats, actual food only seats, I think it just comes down to the number of seats and what the septic can accommodate. So it's not that there are 6 tables in this room and 4 tables in this room. So that, you know, we handle that on the health end. So I don't think you need to concern yourself too much with that.
Well, that's good. But what I'm talking about is not, you know, the relationship to the septic waste system. I'm talking about under COVID, that do we have to say,
You're not in charge.
you're you know, you're outdoors and they have to be a certain number of feet away?
No, we're going to handle that on our end, and they are all intimately aware of what the requirements are. So I think we're good there. You don't need to worry.
Thank you.
And if I may, it's my understanding, and I could be wrong, but going off of what we did last year, there was no expansion of the actual numbers with respect to liquor licenses. Those numbers never changed. It was just a matter of shuffling the deck, if you will, and moving seats further apart, having more seats available because of outside dining. So as long as the number, and Helen, you're correct in terms of maybe there should be at some point, we're still under a state of emergency. And that's what I'm hanging my hat on under the governor's orders. You know, once that changes, then we may have to readjust. But as long as, from my perspective and my knowledge, as long as that number doesn't change with respect to liquor licenses in terms of patrons, between Hillary, myself, Paul, you know, we'll look at each location like we did and make sure the separations are there. And then if there is a request to increase a number, total number, then that certainly would have to go towards, you know, back towards the select board. But that's my interpretation.
Good. One less thing for the select board to do. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Just any other questions for Helen? Okay. Good morning, Justina.
Good morning, Chief Polly, and thank you for this meeting. I just wanted to point out that low COVID numbers are good for business, that restaurants had a good business season last year. And so Maria wasn't here, so I wanted to point that out, that our town has a reputation for safety. The Cape overall had a very good year last year, both for rentals and restaurants. So what protects the business community is protecting our brand of COVID safety. So that should be mindful, Maria and others, in making decisions with the intention of protecting the business community. So that's what I want to say on that. And I assume you're going to go through the select board, so I'll just quickly say that our hardworking and well-qualified department heads really held it together during COVID. And I can't tell you how many second homeowners thanked me for making Wellfleet a safe haven during COVID and stayed on. And I think it's really our department heads who showed grace under pressure and held it together for Wellfleet. So I did want to say that today.
Yeah, I agree. I think, safety is paramount and keeping our businesses going and helping them in any way that we can is certainly all of staff's priority.
Yeah, it's been good. I hate to use the word brand because it's such a buzzword, but we really have developed a brand here of community and safety and a refuge. The real estate market is like houses go on and get an offer in one day and so forth. So it's, I'm all pro business, and safety here is I think been good for all of us. And we owe a huge debt to the department heads here today. I'm done.
Thank you, Justina. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you, guys.
As we said from the very beginning of this, we were on uncharted territory, obviously, but the team continued on and persevered, and I think we've done a pretty decent job overall. And
done an incredible job.
And going into our second season of this, if you will, I think we've got some good experiences, and it should go overall, as well as can be expected. At least that's my thoughts. Any other questions for any of the select board members of anyone?
Hillary has her hand up, Chief.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, I hear us talking about restaurants and use of town property. Are we going to venture into the waters of other uses of town property this year, or have we given that any thought yet?
We have had one request to use town property. And we will follow, again, the governor's regulations. So you would have to be socially distanced, be it a wedding, an event. You're just going to be socially distanced, wearing masks as of today. Who knows what'll happen in May or June, but we'll just be following the governor's regulations, I can imagine. And if it falls within those regulations, good. If not, then no. That's my opinion, obviously.
Okay. Any other questions of the select?
Yes, Rich.
Yes, Helen.
Yeah, so yes, and Janet, I'm the same thing. This is just what I'm thinking here. This is a posted meeting for select board members. I'm hoping that sometime very soon, like even at the next meeting, the select board would have a discussion about how we want to deal with the influx, meaning the extra numbers we get in the summer and use of town property. To add to what Janet said very accurately, right now, we're complying with the governor's, protocol, but we can be stricter or not. And since we need to tailor it to what actually happens in Wellfleet, we need to make a decision so people that want to have events here can make plans, right? That's really important, not to leave it kind of hanging until May or June, because, people want to do weddings or not. They want to send out invitations. We had the triathlon assume that they could do it, and, they can't as of now. So that's my take on where we are now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of the select board or the administration? Do you see any, Rebecca?
I do not, Chief.
Okay, how about final questions before we wrap up?
Nope, nobody's got their hand raised, sir.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Again, this has been, I think, a helpful meeting and get the information out. Special thanks to Hillary, because I know she's been working very, very hard, tirelessly on the vaccination issue. And I'm hearing good things, and we're very thankful and grateful for that. And if anyone else doesn't have any questions. Please, everyone stay safe and healthy. Oh, Nancy, do I see a hand up?
No, she's clapping for
No, I'm
Hillary.
clapping for Hillary.
I can't make out the clapping of the hand up, so.
How do you get to do that? Oh, that's a reaction.
It's a reaction. Get with the program, people.
There we
We've been
go.
on Zoom for a year.
Oh, geez, how much fun.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
All right,
There we go.
I'm gonna take control back of this meeting. So everyone, if there's nothing else, everyone else have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Rebecca.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Chief.
everyone.
Bye, Chief.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.